Hey, and welcome back. This is what we call the hangover. A hangover our original episodes, and that's where the joke is. We basically explain and kind of chat and talk about what we learned, what we did, what choices we made in our episode, and what why, all of it. So feel free to post any questions in the comments if you have any. We'd love to answer your questions. Aside from that, I guess we'll kind of start out around the corner or around the squares with Lindsay. Like, how did you feel about this episode? What did you like? What did you didn't like? What did you learn? Kind of the whole shebang.
I think it was a great episode. I think that we all did a really good job, but I still think like this time around we got kind of stuck a little bit into that analysis paralysis again in some occasions, but I think we realize it and snap out of it a lot quicker than before, which is great. Because we as a group, like as friends, we can get stuck on a topic forever, right?
That's so true.
Like forever. We can dissect it till the end of time, So like having us all together play this kind of game, like we can definitely get stuck in those moments. So I think that we did a really good job at like realizing that again, like, quickly getting out of that. But it was really fun. I think it's great encountering like new monsters. That was really cool, like to experience this different kind of battle, and always coming out on top. Really learn that Kata absolutely under any kind of circumstance, no matter whether it's beneficial to us or not, hates lying. Hates it.
Hate it.
On so many levels.
Weird.
So that's a fun workaround. But yeah, I think it was overall a really good thing. That's what I learned this session. It's about lying.
Ada, what did you feel? Or
No, this
Bob.
week was, yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought this week was interesting from a character perspective. I thought it was a fun way to play Kata. Like normally, he's like, I'm going right into the battle, and I'm gonna go right up to the bad thing, and then I'm gonna try and murder it as fast as I can.
Yeah.
You did
so like
spite.
having the the people to watch over was interesting way to like play that battle out, and also it allowed me to play like a level of pettiness that Kata hasn't like really shown yet. Like taking little notes like, well, you told me that we couldn't do this, and you told me that we were gonna do this, and then like for a second I was like, damn, they're about to kill Marxist, and then I'm gonna like have to jump in here. But like luckily he didn't completely die.
That's kind of an adorable moment. Oh shit, they're about to kill Marxist. I'm gonna have to do something now.
Yeah. Well, and like in character, he to make his point was like, and I only attacked one time. You guys did it all on your own. And in reality, that is technically true. But he also took a reaction, and those two attacks combined were like 70 points of damage. So, kinda, yeah. So that was interesting. From a player perspective, I think the other thing I learned was how crazy some of you guys have moves. Like stun is kind of an overpowered monk move. Like the thing can't react or move or do anything. Like Lindsay was just like, oh yeah, I have this maple syrup ball that I've been carrying around and haven't used yet, and boom, nobody can do anything. -2 dex, -2 AC, can't move, one action. I'm like, what? What the fuck did that come from?
No.
But the monk's
It's a
overpowered.
laundry
right?
list
Yeah.
of things to remember too.
Yeah. So
Like,
yeah, I'd
the
say
chicken scratch was always like scribbles because you were able to see my like.
yeah.
Now that I have a screen, you can't see it. But even then, like, it looks like a fucking nightmare. Like, I look like a serial killer. And it's like, oh, disadvantage next turn. Stun, disadvantage, stun. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
Ugh.
That's pretty cool.
Marxus, what's up, dude?
Oh,
Or
hey.
Dan.
Man, how are you?
I've gone 4 hours talking to you in your fake word.
Well,
They're
hi,
real
but
words.
I'm just trying to do good by most pets, I feel like. No, I learned when you get inspiration, you should use it sooner rather than later. Because Lindsay, aka Orla, I was super jealous that you got the finishing blow when I missed twice. And I was just like a couple pieces short, and like the chances of rolling a d8 and getting a 1 or a 2, like less than 25% or 25% or less.
Yeah.
And so it was like I had a 75% chance of at least like getting another like on with it.
Did you have Bardic Inspiration at that point?
I did on the very last round of combat, because she gave it to me when I was like when she was behind the rocks and I was on the other side of the rocks, right up the hill or whatever. And yeah, I had a note in my yes, Marxist says, quote, "I love that word." Every time Orla heals with mass healing word is like it's just going to be a thing moving forward. That smells delicious.
Thank you.
Smells great
Thanks.
over here.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see everybody adapt their characters. Super awesome. Gina, what did you learn from Narnip this week?
I think I learned, like, my instinct is to just, like, roll with things as they're coming up. Like, when we got to the gate and they were like, oh, you're so-and-so. It's just like, yep, we're just gonna, like, keep on, like, stumbling into this fate, and it's fine. And I didn't really think that it would be a problem, but, like, the anxiety that I had alleviated for the past few sessions thinking that Kata was gonna kill Narnip has now returned. And I'm very concerned because Narnip is like kind of a shady bitch, and like she has a past of like lying quite a bit. And now it's just like, oh no, she's lying some more, and Kata is gonna find out what like her true nature is, and he is totally gonna murder her. And I feel some anxiety about that, but it's also like, it's like, I felt like I could kind of talked him down when he was like, oh, well, I guess I'm in amnesia. And it's like, no, we're helping these people. It's fine. And then we didn't really help the people, but kind of we did. And I don't know. I feel like this deceit is going to meet a dead end soon. And I don't know. I don't know how it's going to, because Kata will totally kill Narnip. Because she's very tiny.
What are you guys excited about moving forward?
The great Kata Narnip battle of 2021 for
My
sure.
backstory.
Let's start with Lindsay and go around again.
My backstory. I can't wait to do it. So bad.
You're excited for your backstory?
Yeah, so
I think we're going to
much,
try to
yeah.
do this month. If we can, please
This
tell
month,
somebody to follow us. Would be great. With this, like we do this out of our own time. We do this out of our own money. We put everything forward. The best thing we can ask for anybody to do is to extend a follow to somebody else, so we can get to, if we can get to 50 this week, we'll make affiliate, or this month rather, we'll make affiliate. That'd be super helpful. But yeah, that said, we you want to do your backstory. I want to do your backstory.
So bad.
I'm very excited for your backstory. I think everybody else's backstory so far was so much fun. And I think it like adapted to your character so much more. And Bob, I'm very excited to do your backstory too.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be like one of those things like why is Kata this way? You kind of learn a little.
Why
bit.
is Kata this way? It's so.
I have
Yeah,
a
you
question.
or is that
I don't
Nina
know
talking?
that I
What's going on
know. Sometimes Kata's this way because Bob's this way, and I think in my head, what
that's-
would be annoying to do here? And then I do that.
Oh my god, are
The
you
monks
Daniel?
You've adapted this character that's so it's such a character and it's such a dynamic and in differentiation between the rest of the group. Like the rest of the group's like, yeah, we'll lie. And then Kata's like, wait. I don't have anything against lying, but why are we lying?
No,
And
no,
it's-
no, no. He does have things against lying.
He has so much
He
Yeah.
against lying.
He's like the
I
Abraham
have things
Lincoln
against
of our
lying.
group, man.
No, I totally agree. I have things against lying, but also we've seen that I can be okay if you can like convince me of its value. That I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, but I see how this is like a tactical maneuver. But in this specific case, and it's what I'm most excited for, is it just totally blew up in your guys' face. You told me we're gonna go here and get extra help, and then we just didn't do that. And then you're like, oh, we'll save these people, and we put them in danger. And then we get to the end, and they're like, welcome, saviors! Like, oh no, this is like the scripted worst lie. Like, if you were like, oh, it's tactically better because we're good, and you could like explain it to him like a strategy. We've seen already that he's like, okay, fine, I'm not comfortable with it, but okay.
Does he ignore anything else that happens in between or before or after? Because as we walked up, like he had to have heard that person say that we were this group of people, right? And we were waiting for you guys. That's an opportunity and a logical opportunity to be able to just get right on to the caravan, right?
And Kata, you didn't like.
And we did protect the people. We shepherded them
100%
through
we
this
protect-
very
Well-
dangerous terrain.
Turned and went over there.
We is a bit of a
also-
too inclusive phrase there, I feel like Kata's about to say. Bob's about to say.
Regardless,
All right, let's try to
regardless
not all in the same room. Let's try to
Yeah.
let's try to not talk over each other. I know it's easy.
we got onto the caravan, those people would have been in danger either
Sure.
way. We didn't
Yes.
put them there.
All that is true, except for Kata had said, "Screw the caravan, let's just go. We got this." And everyone told him, "No, we don't. We need to go intel gather." So he was like, "Okay, yeah, well, fine. You guys don't feel safe? We'll go intel gather." Then we got there and we were like, "Yep, we're full of shit. Let's get in this caravan and roll."
Well,
He was
to
like-
be fair, the intel was, oh, hey,
So-
they're looking for protectors. We could be those protectors. And also, you're now an accomplice to the crime, if you will.
But we still like
Yes.
rolled. We still went, and we also helped
Right.
people.
We did.
That's true. No,
We're
as
gonna have
me,
this
None of
exact
them
same
got hurt.
conversation next week too, in character.
yeah. To be fair, Bob understands all of this, but
But Kata,
no.
That's great
Betrayed.
role-playing,
Back out.
though. I can't ask for
Betrayed.
anything. I honestly can't ask for anything more out of Bob because I don't expect him to roleplay somebody drastically different than himself.
Yeah.
I can't expect any of you to. This is like our second run on playing different people. I think the first time around it was like, all right, cool, we're gonna kind of figure out how to play this game, but not like the role playing that you guys have been doing has been fucking incredible. It's been great and a riot to watch from my perspective, particularly because I'm on the other side of the table 90% of the time, and I wouldn't say 90.
Slash screen. I said slash screen.
Yeah. But, oh man, I don't know. I'm very excited for what is to come.
But then what's how it just all cut off. Our saviors are heroes. But we are, right?
Do you plan that,
We
or was that?
repeat.
Oh, super.
Yeah,
sorry.
well, we're fine, Bob.
Hey, Lindsay.
Oh, okay. No, I was like, we did defeat them. We did defeat the big
Mhm.
bad, you know? So, yeah,
Yeah.
we're the heroes in this scenario.
Sure.
Not the ones that they were initially intending on getting, but we are.
We're not the
So,
heroes
there's that.
they deserve, but the
They're
heroes
the ones
that
they
they're
need.
just fucking getting right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the ones they got.
AJ, when did you plan out that hero's welcome as the DM? Was that like after the battle
About
scene?
nine-
Or...
About 90 seconds before you guys got there.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be honest, a lot of, like, from a DM perspective, and I think this is kind of cool too, is like learning a little bit about that. I don't want to spoil anything, but like, you guys taking a boat there never crossed my mind.
I saw
Mhm.
that it was water.
What do you mean? Our name is Boatfolk.
Exactly.
No, it's not.
You can try
Yeah,
to
but
fight
that's
the
pretty
internet
much-
all you want, but it's still undefeated.
I'll have a small backstory for Simon.
Oh,
I
love
have-
Simon.
I now have you guys approaching from a different way than you normally would have. Like, there's a peninsula, like, bridge, like an Andalusian gap kind of mentality for the area of Holden. And I thought that was going to be the route. And if you guys saw that map, there's like a small area where they kind of almost touch.
I saw that.
That was going to be a case where there was either a bridge or a ferry. I don't know. The other ferry would have taken you, and again, like, we can talk about like maps all day. I can show you guys. I have maps of the greater area and the world, and like that's where you guys chose your guys' like origin places. It was like I gave you a map of the world, and I said, "Hey, where are you from? Cool, you're from there. What's it like? Why are you there? Why are you from there? Why are you here with the rest of the group?" Like, that was a cool aspect of world creation for me, and I hope it was for you. But yeah, I was very interested to see the dynamic in how you guys went to from point A to point B, and of course, you don't take the route that I expect you to, and the entire boat is improvisation, so to speak. The entire, I planned for you guys to go to Holden 3-4 weeks ago. It was an option. I didn't know how it was going to be an option, but I knew it was an option.
We wanted to go see Fecus and Ekis.
Oh, I secretly hated that.
I really enjoyed it. Like, that was a bit of like cool backstory
Yeah.
that you maybe
It-
had, but I feel like maybe you spitballed at the same time.
We're Fecus and Ekis.
No, Fecus is in Ekis. Ekis is a town. Fecus was the,
Second floor is where we were at.
yeah, Ekis,
Um,
right? The wharf in Ekis.
Yes, word.
We were at Eckes Wharf.
But it's ECKGUS. Ekgus.
Oh.
And then it just so happens that the random name generator rolled up Fecus. I liked it.
Mhm.
And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. A lot of what I use is like random. I have a list of random generated names that I've already like looked up and gone through the generator. So then when you meet Simon, you're like, cool, there's Simon has a name. Simon has not only a name, but, and then like as you guys met Simon, I was like, all right, cool. This is how he's going to play. This, if I need to, is going to be how his character is going to play. How, if I had to give him a class, this is going to be his class. You know, like that kind of stuff. What are you pointing at, Dan? What's up?
I'm sorry, but does our microphone pick up that somebody is playing we have a car wash across the street out of our apartment and our windows are open. Is our microphone picking up that someone is playing Adele's "A Dearly Bearded Thousand Times" like
Oh,
while they're hello?
I don't
Only
hear
when
it.
you're singing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
I don't hear it, so I don't
Sorry,
think the
it's
internet cops are going to hear it.
hilarious. And one further question. The original reason why I had my finger raised is, AJ, question for you, our friendly neighborhood DM. What is there a name on your randomly generated list that you're like, God, I cannot wait to use? And 1B to that question, will you tell us the name?
If I look at the list right now, so I have a Excel sheets. I don't know what other brands call it. Page open.
Google Doc.
It has 6 different sheets. One of which is NPCs, the other is NPCs connections, and then the other is special NPCs. So I have 3 sheets related to NPCs alone.
That's not nerdy at
I
all.
have, yeah, I know, dude. It's gonna get deep.
I always said,
It's
what do
gonna
you-
get so much worse.
what do you do with your time?
It's gonna get so much worse. It's gonna get it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. So I have on this list, I have a entire section of NPCs that I've already used, and their names and how they affect all of you, and where they go and where they live, and like have it to the point where like what they look like. Occasionally, I have what they sound like, so I can try my best to hit the same weird voices that I do, which aren't great.
They're not
and then I
weird.
have special NPCs are like Thekis, like somebody that's like a little bit more than just an NPC in the background. Like Cleef is an NPC in the background, and Cleef, as you all well know, is the proprietor of Roman's what is it? Roman's Relics of Rarities, or Roman's Rarities of Reverence, or something like that.
Romies.
I don't. It's interesting.
that one store that we went into.
He goes, but
Yes.
wait.
Yeah.
I don't remember that
And-
store.
The male, the
Yeah.
male version of Bibnotten.
It's where we found the flower petal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where something was stolen, like also taken like out of its case that was there. Wasn't that one of the
Except for
first
the
things we were
rats.
supposed to be looking for?
I don't remember.
But you guys have like about like 15 people that you've met already. And it goes from him to Philip, the orc that is constantly asleep,
Yes.
to and there's like little snippets, and then there's people that are like particularly special, like Thekis, like a few people from people's backstories, like a few other people that you've met that may be coming back or may not. I don't know.
Ooh, cryptic.
Yeah, a little bit. But there's not any names that there's a few names that are on this list that are from our old
Oh, Lifts Raw.
there's
back.
I kind of want to bring back Pana.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Pana.
Pana was like this foul-mouthed gnome that had this like Philly accent
Yes.
and just was like super sneaky and not like in like much more of a thief than a rogue, and like didn't want to kill anybody, but had this like I don't
Didn't
give
she
a
have,
fuck
like, an
attitude.
invisibility
towards
cloak or
her
something
father
like
figure.
She was like, I'm
What's that?
gone now.
Yeah, I wanted that. I wanted her like cloak that she had.
How much for the gun?
Yeah, she
Not
had-
for sale. How
Cloak
much for
of
the
Elven.
arm?
Ability. Oh. That's no.
She had a cloak of elven kind, and it was like it's basically like the cloak from The Hobbit, where like they hide it over themselves and they look like
Yeah.
a rock.
Or Harry Potter.
No, that's very different.
Oh.
He was straight up invisible. The others had a cloak over them; they looked like a rock, and that
I
was it.
see.
Camouflage.
Yeah, and all the ring wraiths rolled poor perception.
Yeah, they were dumb soldiers, so they were mercenaries at that, like extra dumb.
I don't know. Well, whatever. So few things I had listed off in my post game chat for the Hangover was monster types. So like a monstrosity is like a creature that is greater than a beast,
Just larger in size.
usually, or like not. And I think the big difference between monstrosity and beast is that a druid can turn into a beast and not a monstrosity. Like it's very class oriented towards druids specifically. And Gina, you played a druid and you understand that like limit. It's like, all right, cool. I'm going to turn into a bear, a wolf, a normal life thing. monstrosities are basically like non-normal life things that reside still as animals in the world. So there are also constructs, and constructs are like clockwork and mechanical in different ways. Then there's like aberrations, and that's like magically created. Not like magically influenced like what you guys are dealing with, but like this creation was brought out by magical manipulation. And those are like weird shit. Just to to give you guys a heads up on that. I can't read my own handwriting. Inspiration we talked about. Gender reveal parties suck. That was something we talked about. You know what? To each his own. If you want to have one, cool. I get it. But I think it's like a little too soon to be like labeling gender on an individual that's yet to be born, especially because it's like.
I think if we want to get on board of accepting, you know what I mean, like, or being fully accepting of the multiple genders that there are, then we should stop doing that.
Yeah.
And confusing sex and gender. And like, why are we celebrating babies' genitals? That's weird.
Right.
It's already weird. It's already weird that I have to tell my grandma that I'm no longer wearing a condom and we're trying. Like, that's like a weird thing to bring up.
Grandma,
Bring it up. They bring it up.
Well,
yeah,
in my wife.
I have a kid. Oh, well, you know, and you're frankly like, well, I've stopped using a condom and I don't know how to pull out anymore. So there you go, Grandma.
No.
And all of a sudden you're like, what are we really talking about?
Right.
Just go to the extreme. Don't just stop at, I don't wear a condom and pull out. Be like, so what we do is, and one time, she'll never ask again.
I think in general,
go
the conversation of like,
What you guys talk about?
it needs to stop being a norm of being like, okay, these are clearly the steps that you need to take in your life, right? You get married, you have kids, you do this. So those kinds of questions like need, I think, to stop because it makes people feel like they're not meeting up to the standard or the so-called systematic standard of life. Like, not everybody wants to have kids, and that's okay. Like, and the other part of that is asking those kinds of questions of when are you going to have kids, they don't want to hear that real answer of, I can't, you know what I mean? Or I've been trying, or I've been doing
or we
this.
had
and
3 miscarriages or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
they don't want to hear that real answer. And so when that real answer is given, people feel extremely uncomfortable. But really, the uncomfortable question is that question of, are you going to have kids? Like, that needs to just, like, stop, I think, in general.
I did get that question from one of Gina's former coworkers, and we are good friends with these people. I won't call them out by name, of course, because I'm a good person, unlike Marxus. He's a terrible person, but a great Jaboxy. We got the question, like, we were up somewhere at like a bar, and like I was up at the bar getting a beverage back when you could,
back in the before time.
Back in the before times. Before the boomy booms came. And she had asked me like, oh, congratulations on getting married. Have you thought about like, when are you going to have a kid? And I was like, oh, that's funny that you asked. When was your last shit? And she was like, well, that's a rather personal question. And I had my beverage and I went, well, and I just walked away.
Because that also, having a kid is a rather personal question. Like, it's not just a rather personal question, it's a very personal question, and I think like this, it just needs to change like a lot. Mm-hmm. There's too much pressure on having to keep populating the earth when clearly we don't need to anymore right now.
Thanos is going to come down in like 10 years and just...
I don't know. It's not that we don't need to keep repopulating. Not everybody needs to. There'd be way too many people.
I will say this, just to play devil's advocate for 1 second, because that's what I do.
That's always what we do.
I'm just specifically for the 4 of you guys.
Yes.
At
And the
least a
world
little.
on the internet.
Well, yeah, that too. At least a little bit. I'm not disagreeing with anything you guys have said, so I'm not devil's advocating like I think your stances are wrong. I'm just devil's advocating to say, also take that at least a little bit as a compliment that people want you to procreate, because nobody's asked me when we're having kids.
Because you're not married. And
Yeah,
we-
Yeah.
because you guys
Yeah.
are married,
That's
they'd be like,
not.
Wait
So,
till fucking August.
when are you guys having?
Well, we've been trying to get married for like 3 fucking years now, so
Fair. I will say this. I feel like that question has been thrown at me since I was 18 years old. So I'm really tired of hearing it.
yeah. No,
Really-
for sure. And again, I'm not disagreeing with what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
I'm just
Speaking of which, so there's limitations that I've set on everybody's homebrew.
What a
So,
transition.
pivot. Pivot. So basically, originally Orla's homebrew race, the Frost Gnome, the sub race rather, was she could cast Ray of Frost at will, and it was, I mean, she only used Ray of Frost, and I felt like, all right, cool. She's a bard, literally jack of all trades. They can do everything. They have a laundry list of spells, and you have spell slots, and you have cool shit you can do. And I'll be honest, the first campaign that we played, I feel like anybody that had spells never used them because they were afraid to spend the slots.
Yeah.
Mm.
Guilty.
And it was like, it was that hoarding mode on when like you're playing an RPG and you're like, yeah, I do need 109 pieces of steel ingot. Like, no, you don't.
Why would I
It's
make
just gonna
one
be-
sword?
Yeah. But I think limiting it is cool too, because it like kind of is like you're drawing from your
Right.
heritage to be able to do something, and it's a thing. It's a powerful thing. And thinking of everybody else not being able to do magic, nobody else in the world, like, if you're an adventurer, that's one thing, but common folk aren't like, oh yeah, teleport, going to market. You know?
Hey, anybody want a round? Misty step up to
Yeah.
the bar.
Yeah, right.
Anybody want peanuts?
I think that-
Create food.
Anybody want a peanut?
that
Purified food and
is
drink.
an idea and a concept to think of, like, everybody that you're protecting on that road, you can't really defend themselves against this kind of monster. They can like run, they can pitchfork, they can scare them away, they can try, but that's why there's people like you around, and particularly because we're post-emergence and the world is more dangerous and there's more of this kind of stuff out there and less civilization. You see that, and there's greater gaps between cities. There's literally, as we were talking about, there's a whole sea that was created because of the absence of land that was taken to create these floating cities. And I think that's like, it's new. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I think it's, if you don't,
Super cool.
tough, you're playing in my world.
Question for, since it's your world and kind of expounding upon that. When that happened and the Council of Wizards lifted these cities into the sky to escape the Titans,
Yeah.
how much did the sea level drop?
Enough.
That's a fucking cop out, and I'll expect an answer next
Yeah.
week.
Totally cap out.
6
I don't
feet.
know. But that's interesting though. Like
3.5
you would probably
meters.
see a handful of cities that are not next to the coast immediately, like bigger cities that are that were coastal at one point. I think that'd be cool.
Okay, I have a question though. Then, not related to sea level.
Oh wow, it sounded
but-
like it was for a second there.
Yeah. No. So okay, so like I get that portion of it. So then I have a question about the ranger skill set.
Like a villain.
So, hold on, let me bring it back up so I can read it exactly. So earlier I did a tracking, and I was trying to track creatures, and I had rolled. You had me roll a nature check
Yeah.
to do the tracking. So is that a this world type skill check? Am I misinterpreting what the ranger skill set is?
I think it was mostly because it wasn't a like foe or whatever else it's called enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Favored foe or favored enemy or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't a favorite enemy, and I think it was like also like if it was a favorite enemy, I would have probably given you the exact numbers. And
Mm-hmm.
you ended up rolling relatively high after your proficiency score, and I want to make that portion of it more applicable because I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that the way that that's worded. I think it's like it leads a lot more into role playing as opposed to like acts about it. And even then, like you just say like, "Hey, I want this." Cool, you get it. And you don't roll. Like rolling's part of the fun of it, and learning that kind of stuff and being able to role play off of it. If the answer is you get it no matter what, that's I don't know. It just doesn't allude to role playing. It doesn't allude to non-role playing and like playing and figuring out the puzzles and that kind of stuff.
Why does anyone hoard dice in the first place if that's the case?
Yeah, like looking at combat as a puzzle and looking at like near combat as a puzzle is like something I really want to continue observing and trying to explore. But if it's just a given. Like again, if I said like if it was you were on the coast, you understand that if you were dealing with beasts or constructs, which are your favorite enemies, I would have probably given it to you. But because it wasn't that, I feel like a roll for it is fair, and I think that that kind of leaves you interpretation as a role player.
Yeah. So totally get that. 2 follow-ups to that. Then one. I think 3 things, I guess. One, just having that understanding is good just for how I use that going forward.
Yeah.
2, it doesn't relate to the favored foe. It just relates to geographic location. So if I'm in my favored geographic location, then I know.
Okay.
But then the third one is how does a normal, like how would anybody else track? Do they do the same thing? I just get the bonus of being
You're going to take a bigger hit. Like you being a ranger in general is going to be a high. It's going to lower the DC on my end.
Okay. That was my question. Yeah, okay. All right. Cool.
All right, we are going to call it. Thank you all very much for joining us in the Hangover. We will see you next week. Next week's school. We stream Sundays 2 p.m. Eastern time. Feel free to check us out. We have a back date.
Easter time.
What'd you say?
What time was that again? 2:00. What time?
Easter time because today's Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boom.
We're here all night, but we'll see you next week, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We do have a backlog of all of our videos on our YouTube. Check that out. Feel free to check us out on Twitter as well. And if you could, please, again, we do all this out of our own pockets. We do this all out of our own time. If you don't mind giving us a follow and or sharing to somebody else that may follow, that's what would really help us out right now at this moment. We really appreciate you for watching. Thank you very much. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.